CNN Election Watch presents the Vice Presidential Debate Countdown. Now, here are Don Farmer and Chris Carl.
Good evening. If the talk tonight in Philadelphia in the debate there matches the pre-debate rhetoric, it could be an interesting 90 minutes in this Philadelphia tonight.
What do you do if you're a politician known for a squeaky, nasal, sometimes whiny voice? If you want to do well on TV and on the stump, chances are you get help. And if you saw Walter Mondale in the debate Sunday night, you probably noticed a difference, a before and after Mondale. But before and after what? In part, at least, before and after, Mr. Mondale asked a voice coach and speech therapist to send him some advice. The therapist, Dr. Mort Cooper, did, and he hopes it helped. Dr. Cooper says in a new book that you can, quote, change your voice, change your life. And Dr. Mort Cooper is with us for a look at tonight's debate. Welcome. Thanks for being with us. Many people noticed that there was a difference of before and after Mondale on Sunday night. What did he do differently from your professional perspective?
He spoke conversationally. He became very warm, friendly, direct. He became a natural speaker when he was speaking with President Reagan, and he was at one with us. He was very, very much at ease as the debate moved along. He wasn't his old self yelling, screaming to the back of an audience.
But how did he achieve that? How do you go from having what is obviously a normal way of speaking to something that is difficult to achieve, that kind of conversational, intimate tone? What does one do to do that? What did he do?
Mr. Mondale had that before. He used that in his speaking across the country, in other campaign activity before he became the candidate. He knows how to use that one-on-one. He got accustomed to screaming at audiences and yelling and forgetting that he has an audience out there that hears as he's speaking naturally. He was out doing President Reagan in the conversational one-on-one approach, which is very, very important to do. The man he was up against is one who has, in my opinion, the most appealing and presentable voice in America, the most trusted voice in America. Mr. Mondale is learning how to use his style and his delivery and be himself. He had that all along. We all do. We only have to learn how to use the media or the medium as whatever we're talking, whichever part of the media we're in. And when you have a microphone in front of you or a telephone, you talk one-on-one as he's doing now. He has that ability. We all do.
Let's talk about tonight's debate for a moment. Dr. Cooper, you're familiar with Ms. Ferraro's voice, with Vice President Bush's voice. How would you rate them on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of the way they use their voices?
Neither is outstanding in the use of sound. The sound impression they're going to make is not going to be the key, but it's going to be a sound that we're going to listen to. Geraldine Ferraro has a voice that is rather high. It's somewhat nasal, and it's a voice that has an accent with it. I think we're going to discount the accent because accents do not turn us off. A lot of people have had accents such as President Johnson, and you have the leading anchor people in this country. You have Peter Jennings, who has an accent. You have Dan Rather, who has a Texas accent. Accent is not going to turn us off. We are going to be listening to the sound of the candidates, and Geraldine Ferraro has a voice that is going to carry. Now the question is she going to do what Mr. Mondale has done, back off, talk easily, use the microphone, be friendly, and at one with us? If she does, she's going to be listened and liked, and she's going to be respected for it, and we're going to listen to the substance and the issues.
How do you be friendly and aggressive and tough and meaningful all at the same time?
President Reagan has been able to do that in previous debates. He was very tough. He was very direct with Mr. Carter when Mr. Carter was president. And Mr. Carter was very sharp, and he was very, he had a high voice. President Reagan was at one with himself, natural and direct. And I believe that Geraldine Ferraro can do that. She can learn to use the microphones as Mr. Mondale is doing, and we're going to like her, and we're going to listen to her, and we're going to then make our decision.
We know that you're a speech therapist, a speech expert, and not a political analyst. But tell us how important you think how the candidates will say what they had to say is weighed against what it is they actually are saying. What really is of most importance?
The delivery is very important to us. You find that in the way President Reagan has been able to gain our attention, even though he stumbled and he seemed somewhat disoriented in the debate with Mondale. Mr. Mondale did not win the debate, per se, on delivery. Mr. Reagan lost it by some of the things he did. We are still taken with the sound of the president. He's a very conversational man, and as I said, I think he's replaced the most trusted voice in America, which was the mantle of Walter Cronkite. But he is having trouble. He has a hoarseness and a fogginess to his voice, and that's coming through as he talks. He drops down into the lower throat, and he's using some of that sound, which, of course, is indicating voice misuse. It may indicate age, it may indicate fatigue, but those are the factors we'll talk about later on. The Mondale voice is coming down. It's not nasal, it's direct, it's open. Geraldine Ferraro's voice is somewhat nasal, as is Mr. Bush's voice. His voice doesn't really carry the impact of what he's trying to tell us. What he is doing, he uses a laid-back style. And both Mr. Mr. Reagan and his vice president, Mr. Bush, have a laid-back style. Mr. Mondale and Geraldine Ferraro both have had very aggressive styles, and it shows in their voices. They both have a somewhat nasal voice, as does Mr. Bush, but George Bush has a laid-back style. Geraldine Ferraro has a much more direct, aggressive style. I think in tonight's debate, she's going to back off. She's going to be relaxed. She's going to be friendly with us, warm, and she's going to do what Mr. Mondale did in the debate and be very easy. She's not going to punch hard. And I think they're both going to be looking for openings. And if they can find an opening, as Mr. Mondale did, not by his substance, but by the fact that Mr. Reagan stumbled, that the president lost his train of thought and was moving about in words and so forth. I think that's what she's looking for, and that's what Mr. Bush is. They're going to see what happens. They're going to skirmish on the inside. They're going to make statements. They're going to see what happens, and the key is going to be the reaction.
And it's going to happen, forgive me for interrupting, it's all going to happen in about 6 or 7 minutes. Mort and Cooper, Dr. Cooper, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.